To me, I don't know, for me isolation has two sides. A positive side, which can be relaxation or getting back into yourself, purifying yourself from the crazy outside. And it can also mean loneliness in a negative sense, that I feel like I'm not accepted, I'm an outsider, I'm not part of a society or community.
My work has been often as a professional stranger. I'm studying communities almost from an anthropological standpoint, and so it's very important for me to sometimes be very separate and yet to also participate. So I'm moving between being an outsider and also being an insider and playing that line.
When you kind of start to think about this, when you are isolated, then it's a kind of situation where you have to rely on the conditions, or you have to work out with the conditions what are in this situation called isolation, and you can actually learn something from it.
I think it's mostly kind of a mental process or mental protection, maybe.
And I think a lot about being isolated in an urban setting. So having many people around you and yet feeling a sense of being alone or lonely in a large urban area.
And this is getting more and more not to be like spatial isolation that this word meant for me like before, but it's getting more and more like mental isolation.
And then I felt that I am living totally in isolation. A very big city. I don't know nobody here, and all people are also like strange for each other.
To me, isolation is the phenomenon of being inside your head. It's about the fundamental shortcomings of language to enable people to really connect with each other.
The word isolation, you always have to put in some context.
If I understand it as a physical isolation, it means that I feel it's necessary to be isolated from time to time, because we are functioning nowadays as more or less as computer disks, which are just getting information and usually not having time to stop to analyze the data.
And that's how I feel about being here, is that you have everyone from all over the world who might be isolated where they're from when the way they work, or just be working as an artist, and then you bring everyone here and that isolation is gone in terms of the individual in a positive way.
It always has a negative connotation. Isolation chamber, isolation tank, isolationism. That's something negative, but in fact, I think when you're isolated, it gives you the opportunity to tap into something that is sort of beyond yourself.
Possible isolation when they feel the threat of the loneliness and isolation.
It could be seen in a much more positive way, to actually separate details or persons from their normal environment or their kind of everyday lives, and to put them somewhere else. You get like even objects, but also persons, they get a completely different meaning and a completely different position when you actually turn their environment around.
I suppose I would look upon it more as time with yourself, solitude of some sort, gathering your thoughts.
Isolation for me is a word that I really have a problem to relate to in a positive way.